What's going on, everybody? My name is Ryan. I'm a CPA, and today we're doing another CPA Reacts. I got a lot of good stuff today. I'm just finding lots of gold mine content online to react to. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate that. And if you wouldn't mind giving this video a like, if you find it helpful, entertaining, whatever. And if you have any comments, questions, whatever, leave them in the comment section below. And of course, if you're returning, thanks for joining me again. All right, so in these videos, I just basically find things online, people giving tax advice, anything tax related, and I present them to you and I tell you what I think about it. I'm not gonna throw tax codes at you or revenue rulings or revenue procedures. I'm just here to be rude and to react. All right, so to start off with, the first thing I have is this ad that I saw actually on YouTube, on actually one of my videos for TurboTax. It says here, $0, you do it yourself, $0, you ask an expert and they file for you, and $0 to file with expert help. So they're basically advertising that they are a free software to file taxes. And I think this is like a partial truth, because they do have a free version of TurboTax, but your return has to be pretty simple for that to happen. Like you got to fall under like this very narrow, simple circumstance in order for your TurboTax filing to be free. So, the common practice of TurboTax and what they do is they'll lure you in with this free filing, and then you'll do your taxes, and maybe as you do them, you actually have more stuff than what qualifies as the free. And once you actually finish the tax return, once you're all done and did everything and you finish, then they say, okay, we're gonna bill you this much for filing your return. You don't qualify for the free version. Oh, and we're gonna bill you this much for the state filing. So just be wary of what's going on with TurboTax. Any tax filing software, for the matter of fact, if they advertise as free, just be a little weary, the IRS does offer, if you go on their website, they have some free filing services, but again, your situation and your set of circumstances has to fall under a pretty simple filing. All right, next picture, I do see a WK9. This is a joke picture, by the way. This is posted in a Facebook group. I just like look, it's a pet dependent form. How to claim your pet. But then if you look closely at the very bottom, a poor gentleman says, is this legal? First of all, I really hope he's kidding. I do. And I want to give people the benefit of the doubt that they are. But if he's not, no, it's not legal. You can't claim your pets. All right, next picture. I just filed my taxes through TurboTax about an hour ago and is due for a refund. I used the advanced refund option since it heard there were no fees and I already had a Credit Karma account and it said I was eligible and approved. Okay, so, no criticism against this person. I think the only criticism I had is about the TurboTax advanced refund. If you're not privy to it, Intuit, which is a company that produces TurboTax, acquired Credit Karma, I think in 21 or 2020, something like that. But they acquired Credit Karma. And so what they're doing now is they're offering these advanced refunds. If you do your taxes through TurboTax and you're expecting a refund, they will actually advance you the money right away if your tax return is accepted and if you meet certain criteria. Now, the reason I think this is stupid is because you're basically taking out a loan for money that belongs to you. Like you're getting in advance. You're taking out a loan. And I don't really know the stipulations, like when you have to pay it back, or if the IRS changes your refunds, whatever. But that's essentially what you're doing is you're taking out a loan for your tax refund for money that is actually owed to you. You're then taking a loan out to get it faster. And then the problem is if the IRS adjusts your refunds to a lower amount because you did something wrong in your taxes, then you're gonna have to end up paying Credit Karma. And I'm sure there's gonna be interests and stuff like that for paying them back. Typically for these kinds of services, they charge you a fee as well to get your refund faster. This person says there's no fee. I don't really know what's going on there. I'm not gonna look into TurboTax and see what's going on. I'm just here to point things out. But yeah, don't take out a loan for your refund. I think that's dumb. Wait for your refund. That's the smart thing to do, because the IRS could adjust your refund and you could get a lower amount. Also, if you're getting a large refund and it's not because of the child tax credit or the earned income credit, then you should adjust your withholdings from your job, from your W-4, because you don't want to get a large refund. That is giving the government a free loan. And some people might say, well, if you don't have the discipline to save that money, then you're basically using it as a savings account, and it's kind of helping with your discipline. Well, I think that's a terrible strategy, because typically when people get the refund, they go spend it anyway. So don't give the government an interest-free loan. If you are getting a large tax refund because of the child tax credit and the earned income credit, I know to an extent there's nothing you can do to keep your money, but yeah, if it's not because of those reasons, please adjust your withholdings, because you don't want to get a large refund. This person asked, my husband and I file separately. We own a business together in 2021. Who files the taxes for the business, or should they be filed separately? All right, so if you file married separately, then no matter what, your business has to be filed as a partnership. If you are husband and wife and own the business, you have to file as a partnership, okay? Now, if you file jointly as a husband and wife, then there's a couple things that can happen here. If you live in a community property state, which means that if you get married, then all the property that you acquire when you're married belongs to both spouses. If you live in a community property state, then you can file as a single member LLC, as a husband and wife owned business. But that's only if the husband and wife are the only owners. Then you may do that if you meet certain requirements. You also have the option to file as a partnership, even if you live in a community property state. Either way, you can do that. If you don't live in a community property state and you're a husband and wife owned LLC, you have to file as a partnership. There's no joint venture rules. There's no single member LLC rules. If you're an LLC, you have to file as a partnership. Why is it? I have like $7K. Then when I put in my stimulus, which was my son and I, it goes down to $4K. Make it make sense. So this person's obviously talking about her refund. They're doing it on some tax software. She was expecting a $7,000 refund, and then she entered in how much of a stimulus payment that she already received, and it went down to $4,000. And then the person below says, but they claimed it wasn't money we had to pay back. And this is the problem here. People don't understand how the stimulus payments work, okay? The stimulus payment is actually a tax credit for, let's say, for the 2021 year, there's supposed to be a tax credit that is the stimulus payment. However, because of the legislation that passed, people were receiving those tax credits in advance, so they were being paid before the tax year ended. So when you are paid that credit before the tax year ended, you have to just reconcile it when you file your taxes to see how much of a credit you already received versus how much you actually should get based on your 2021 tax filing. So if you are doing your taxes and you're entering all your information and the tax software doesn't know that you received the stimulus payment yet, then they're going to assume that you still need to receive that credit, okay? But then when you put in the numbers that you received your stimulus payment already, then it's gonna say, oh, you already received it, then you don't need to receive this credit. Then your refund decreases. That's what's going on here. You're not paying nothing back. You're only supposed to get the credit one time. And if you already got it, you shouldn't get it again. Okay, that's what's happening here. So, the person responding is a classic example of outrage, ignorant outrage. When they claim it wasn't money they're supposed to pay back, well, you're not paying it back, you're just receiving the credit once. And since you already got it, then you shouldn't get it again. So that's the whole point of the stimulus payment. This one is from an actual, I had never heard of this person before, but she's a pretty popular entrepreneur who claims she's a self-made millionaire. I don't know what she does. I think she does taxes. I don't know. But she's This is one of her posts. A lot of business owners should not be filing taxes as an LLC. You're being double taxed, and that's why you owe so much when you put your info in Turbo. You should be electing to file as an S Corp, parentheses shareholder. Okay, first of all, LLCs are not double taxed. C corporations are considered double taxed because they are taxed at the corporation level, and then if you want to take the money out of the corporation, you're taxed again. But LLCs are not double taxed. Maybe she's talking about how people who own businesses, such as LLCs, will pay income tax and self-employment tax, because that is the two taxes that you pay when you're self-employed. Even when you're employed too, you pay self-employment, you pay the employment tax. Anyways, let's move on. You made $200,000 in the business, you already owe over 40K as an LLC. Okay, that's pretty generalization. Technically, you did not make 200,000. You maybe made 70,000 after expenses and overhead. Okay, well, I don't know why in the first example you said you made 200,000 then. As an S Corp, you file 1120S for the business, let the business claim the bulk of the money, no taxes due, and pay yourself 70,000. File your 1040, and now you're being taxed on 70,000, not 200,000. Okay, this is a stupid point, because in the previous paragraph, you just said that, you know, after deductions, you know, maybe you make 70,000 of profits rather than 200,000. And then in this paragraph, you're saying, well, because you're an S Corp, you're paying tax on less income than if you weren't an S Corp. And that's just not true. Based on these two examples, you're just paying taxes on the same amount of income, okay? You're just not paying self-employment tax. And then she goes on to explain that a lot of y'all need to pay taxes quarterly and all that. Okay, so I think the sentiment she's trying to say is, you know, filing taxes as an S corporation, you're gonna pay a little bit less taxes because you're avoiding self-employment tax. Even though you do need to pay yourself a W-2 salary, that's a reasonable amount, and that's where you actually end up paying your self-employment tax. But, you know, as an S Corp, you don't magically get more deductions, you know, or you don't magically get to not claim any income. The income that the S Corp makes does get taxed. It doesn't get taxed on the corporation level. It flows to your personal return and it gets taxed on the personal level. So it still gets taxed, you know? So the S Corp is not just a magical way of avoiding income tax. All right, so that's all for today. Today was a doozy. There's a lot of nonsense out there. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining me. Again, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel and smashing the like button. And stay tuned for more of these videos. I plan on doing these more during tax season because they're just, you know, they're just easy content to get. All right, so thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Take care.
I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flicker.